true mode tier list for Type Soul. You already saw the title. I got 22 modes to rank for this, I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna try not to talk a lot, but do keep in mind that this tier list is going to be very opinionated, meaning this tier list is going to be made off of me, what I think of the true modes, and experience fighting certain true modes. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Every single true mode that is on this list is good. Every single one of them is good. When you pop a true mode, you are most likely going to win that fight, unless it's like maybe Zangetsu, but we'll get to that when it's on the tier list. Every single true mode is good. If you're trying to use this tier list as like a basis to get a true mode, just do keep in mind that this is my opinion. And another thing that I do want to say, because I know it's going to be real, is that thank you to Corgi for most of this footage that you're probably going to be seeing inside the video. He has done videos on almost every single true. Now, I also waited till I got my true to make this tier list, so it's not like I'm just talking without knowing what it's like to experience a true. But outside of that, I guess we can actually start off the tier list with the first true that's actually going to be here, being Beserk. Also, one more thing to note before I continue is that this tier list is going to be comparing the true bankais to the other true bankais. If it was just in general, everything would be an S tier, and that would be pretty boring. So to start off, we actually have Beserk. Yeah, Beserk is an S tier. Now, the thing about Beserk for its true is that I'm pretty sure Beserk true just completely makes you a hyper armor beast. You do not die when you are inside of Beserk true. I feel like a good way to describe Beserk true would actually be to call it like just moving hyper armor. Everything you do has hyper armor, and you actually get the count, like the Beserk counter on your head that kind of just amplifies everything that you do, actually peaks at 100 now. So you like everything that you do becomes hyper armor. You hit really hard, your skills are just really unstoppable. You are honestly like a huge brute running and just fighting the person. I don't know any better way to describe it. It's honestly like you're just fighting a raid boss, or maybe one of the bosses that you actually have to fight to get a true mode, is what I would say Beserk is like. It's honestly a really good true. The only thing that I would say that's lacking for me personally is like very cool visuals and a way to just handle like multiple people at once. You can 1000% do it with Beserk, but I myself would just prefer a skill that just kind of makes it easier for me. Next true we have is going to be Blood. Now, Blood is my favorite Shikai, but I'm going to be honest, the true for Blood is just very lackluster. So I'm just going to put it in B tier. Compared to the other trues, Blood's true is actually pretty balanced, even though it's a legendary Shikai. I feel like they could have done a lot more for Blood's true, but what Blood's true does kind of just makes you unkillable. Now, the way that I'm talking about it, you would think that it's bad to be unkillable, but you kind of just get your blood art M1s without the ability to actually, you know, take blood from yourself, or just basically taking your own life. And you also have like this huge domain that spawns like these blood puddles. Now, I'm not sure what the blood puddles do, but your M1s having blood art and not actually, you know, taking blood from you, and the fact that you can also use all of your other blood skills while having the blood art M1s, like this wasn't able to be done before. Before, you had to either use blood art, meaning that you weren't able to use any of your other skills, or you had to use your other skills, meaning and then you weren't able to use blood art. But with the true, you can use blood art and your skills. Plus, you kind of just don't die. Your own blood Shikai, if you're fighting anybody with this, they're also probably not going to beat you, because you're just going to out heal everything that they're doing. It's just that the true is really lackluster because it puts you in like this void that you're creating around yourself. So every single time that you move, like the blood and everything is following you, meaning that it'll be hard to catch people who like run out of that black circle because you kind of can't see them. Following that, we have True Confusion. Now, I'm going to be honest, True Confusion, I'm just going to put it in C tier. Like, the true mode for it, it's cool because I think just inherently Confusion is a pretty cool Shikai, especially after the rework it got, where you can genuinely spawn clones of yourself and stuff like that. But even still, this Bankai, when you pop it, or true mode, it actually creates you in like some weird domain, kind of like forest-esque place, and your screen is highlighted like very bright pink. I'm not sure if it's going to be pink, but your screen, or the background of your screen, actually does change. But the skills for it, it's kind of just like the Bankai skills, but sometimes they kind of reset your cooldowns depending on how you use it. I haven't personally used True Confusion, but it's just really lackluster. And some of the videos that I've seen with it, and people are actually fighting, and mind you, the videos I'm talking about is the only 2 videos because there aren't really much True Confusion showcases. But from the videos that I saw with it, it's not even like a powerhouse as to like when you pop it, you're guaranteed that you're gonna win a fight, or you're guaranteed that you're just gonna absolutely demolish somebody. It's honestly just really like there. So yeah, True Confusion, I'll leave it in C tier. I think that's fine. You can get it if you want. I just think Confusion's cool. That's the only reason I would suggest somebody to get it. You can rewind time and like heal yourself, but the Bankai can also do that. Next we have True Creation. Now I'm gonna be honest, this one is honestly super cool, and it's also one of those true Bankais where you just can't really beat it. Maybe if you pop your True Creation is definitely going inside S tier. I'd probably put it in, yeah, I put it in front of Beserk. True Creation, so what it does, when you're inside your true mode, you create like another domain. This is probably going to be a key thing for every single true mode for Soul Reapers, but you do create like a domain, and you kind of have these swords that just constantly fall down from the sky. Now, it's one of your skills that you have to use, but on top of that, while you're inside True Creation, you are also rolling random weapons for you to use. And these weapons are not limited at all. You can roll a mod spec type of weapon. I've seen it inside one of the videos that actually showcase True Creation, but I'm pretty sure that the person, when they used the critical for the weapon, it was like some type of red claws coming out of it. And mind you, they were using a sword before. So you are rolling different weapons when you're using True Creation, and it's literally not limited to you just like, you know, rolling the basic weapons like katana and stuff like that. You will always have the chance to just roll a different weapon, and the chance that you can actually roll a weapon that's not even on your fighting style. Like, I'm pretty sure you can also roll the crits for Hakuto weapons, even though you're probably something like speed with True Creation. That inherently is just cool. Plus, also when you're inside the creation domain, the whole entire floor for it kind of has like these spikes around. So the person who's in it, they're kind of just passively taking damage and not being able to really flash step and walk around like that. It's like walking and trying to run on a death dealing puddle. True Creation is honestly just really good, and also really cool. So I feel like S tier is just a valid ranking for it, and it makes sense. Now following that, we have True Duality. Now this one is also pretty lackluster to me because it's a mythical, but the way that they treat it is just pretty mid and kind of underwhelming. I'm gonna put True Duality inside A tier though, because when you're fighting it, it's honestly like, it's a true, so it's inherently just very good. But the thing about it is that it summons a domain, and then you also gain another skill called Cycle. Now what this Cycle thing does is it has two passives. In the daytime, you actually end up healing a lot more over time, so it kind of puts you in like some unkillable state. And then for nighttime, when you switch to that cycle, you also do 50% more damage. Besides that, nothing else inside the True changes. I did see inside the comments of Corgi's video when he actually uploaded it that Nova Prime, the person who made True, said himself, I never got to finish the True, by the way. The other moves were supposed to get changed variants too, because it was a bit underwhelming. It's pretty strong, but not cool enough. So as I'm recording this video, True Duality is not actually what the developer wants it to be at visually, but it is honestly still pretty strong, because the fact that you can heal inside of a fight, and you also have the option to just go berserk and kind of just get an all-out 50% damage boost, is pretty good. And I think A tier is like a really nice spot for it. Next we have True Fire. Now when it comes down to this is probably like one of the most basic True Bankais you can get, and it's also just good. I don't know how to really describe True Fire. I'm gonna put it actually inside I'll put it in A tier in front of Duality. And the main reason why I'm doing this is because it's kind of what you would think when you think of like a fire Bankai. It's just a brute powerhouse. You don't really get a different skill, but you do create like the domain, fire barrier, edges kind of thing. And your M1s also do become amplified to kind of just become like these huge impact AoE M1s. But the amount of damage that you do with this True is just insane. Your G skill, or this, I think the skill's called Word Breaker, the one where you actually like break up the rocks on the ground, it becomes larger and it does more damage. The amount of damage that you're doing, along with that, your flash steps still applying the burn effect, everything you're doing still applying the burn effect, it's all just amplified. So you are literally just like this to me is probably one of the best Trues for just huge AoE crowd control, because the amount of damage that you're doing to people is honestly just absurd, and it makes sense for fire. Next we have True Flower. This is, I can honestly make a whole entire tier, or I can do like a gap for True Flower. I don't even know a better way to explain it. Like I didn't even say what tier I put it in, but it's an S tier. This is probably the best True Bankai, and it is the best True Bankai. I don't think there's really a probably. You just can't fight it. I'll just show a clip of what happened to me when I asked my friend for a showcase of True Flower. But even still, like, you just can't fight it. Mind you, the clip that I'm showing currently, this was after they made that progress log change where they nerfed how much damage it does. Well, not even nerf how much damage it does. They just said that they made it fightable. This was after that. When they nerfed it, they didn't tell you what they nerfed about it. They just said that they made it fightable, and it's still not fightable. You can move in it, but you can't run from it. So it's honestly like you're still at the mercy of the flower user. You're literally like just their toy. They just choose when they want to stop playing with you. And now we're going from the best to probably the worst. I'm saying worst in terms of like uniqueness when it comes to being a true, but I still think that a true Zangetsu would diff a true confusion user. Now true Zangetsu or Getsuga, Tensho, Ichigo's Bankai, all this does is just amplify your skills and allow you to use it more than once. Like, the best way to think about it is like how in the anime when Ichigo's spamming Getsugas constantly with like no breaks in between, that's you. I'm pretty sure one of your Getsuga skills you can use up to 3 times inside of a row before it goes on cooldown. And keep in mind, these are your amplified Bankai that Getsuga skills. So the amount of damage that you're able to do with it is pretty nice, and you also trap people inside of barriers so they can't run from you when you're spamming your skills. But that's it. Like, think about it. You grinded for a true mode, and what you get out of this true mode is the fact that you can use your skills more. To me, it's just really lame, but it's still a pretty, I guess, alright true mode. You'll definitely be a true confusion user, but I don't know. I just don't know why you wouldn't want to get this as like a true mode when there's like cooler stuff. Unless you really like Ichigo, then go ahead. But yeah, true Getsuga, true Zangetsu, whatever you want to call it, is just pretty underwhelming. Now, following that, we have True Ice, another contender for best true mode inside the game. It's Ice. I'm pretty sure you know exactly what it's gonna do. It's honestly pretty cool to me. Now, True Ice, you honestly just kind of bum rush your opponent. Everything you do freezes, mind you. So another thing to state is that you create another domain. This one is honestly just very cool and nice because it creates like these huge glaciers that kind of just peek out of the ground. But with True Ice, you also freeze the opponent on everything that you do. Now, your skills become completely amplified. Your skill that kind of rains down like those ice pellets inside the sky, I'm pretty sure it's the T, kind of just makes it so it's like once it hits them, it's like they just stand still for like 3 seconds on end. Now, standing still inside Type Soul, being at the mercy of somebody else who can also just continue spamming all the ice skills to just keep on freezing you, is just hell. It makes your flash step super slow, so it's not like the person can run from you. And also the range of it is amplified by a huge amount when you're inside your true mode. It's honestly just crazy. And another thing to note about Ice is that when you're actually M1ing inside Ice, I think on your 3rd M1 or after a couple of M1s, you create like this little tornado. And what that tornado does is when it touches them, it also freezes them. So you can stack that on top of the already skills, like all the skills that you're already using with frozen stuff on it. Honestly, Ice, I'm putting it right behind Flower. You just can't move. You can't beat something that you can't, like, you can't even fight it. The only things that I think really can compare to each other on Soul Reaper and true modes is going to be Lightning and, Flower and Ice, my bad. These two are just, like, I don't know. The next true Bankai we have is going to be Ink. Now, I feel like this true Bankai is kind of underrated by a good amount of people because it's just kind of, it looks lackluster on the outside, but true Ink Bankai, I'm honestly going to place it in A tier. I'm going to put it in front of Duality because the thing about true Ink Bankai is that you kind of get like these huge blood art-esque M1s. And the whole point of it is that you're supposed to do a lot of damage to the person that you're hitting. First, you have to like apply ant on them, and you basically just want to constantly debuff the person. The whole point of this Bankai is to just make it so that the person can't really do anything against you. So when they have like that little status effect where their name is constantly changing, it applies a huge debuff onto them, and they also cannot attack you. So I think it's when the dialogue starts popping up on your Bankai screen and you're just calling them like an ant and stuff like that, but the person literally just can't fight back. It's like they're truly stunned by the amount of ink that they have on them, to the point where they just don't move, like they just don't react, they can't attack you. And it's when you see like their name is constantly changing. The whole point of it is that you're supposed to spam your M1s and also just constantly do like a lot of damage to them to just make it so that they are kind of crippled when they're fighting you. Another thing to note for Ink True is that the C actually teleports behind you, C being droplet. So you have like this skill where people cannot run from you. and then after that you just start spamming your M1s and like just absolutely willing out on them. Honestly, it's a very good true Bankai. The only problem for me is that like the domain for it kind of puts you in like a separate-ish kind of world. So it's like once people kind of get out of that, or once you kill the people who are in it, like you can't really use your true Bankai anywhere else. It's not really a problem because most trues kind of suffer the same thing, but yeah, that's just what it is for Ink True Bankai. It's pretty nice. So following that, we have True Judgment. Now this one is honestly beautiful. It is honestly like where you go into like your own domain, and it's kind of like this huge executioner realm. You have a bunch of guillotines going around the room, but the main takeaway for True Judgment, because the skills don't actually change, they just kind of they literally just become amplified, is your new skill being Court. Now in 1v1 this is honestly perfect, but what it does, it puts you and another person inside your domain expansion kind of like right across from each other, and it does like a fake trial courtroom kind of thing. Now it's always most likely in favor for you to win. From the clip that I've seen, the person who actually used it on the opposite person, the person who was used on kind of suffered debuffs where they lost 50% of their HP and they lost the ability to flash step. And then the person who was trialing them, or the accuser, they actually gained a 50% health pack. So I don't like, if it's a 1v1, True Judgment might probably be like one of the best ones because you're just constantly nerfing them. But True Judgment is honestly just pretty good. I'm gonna put it at the top of B tier because it lacks crowd control. You have to use like, you know, your regular Bankai skills, bring like those multiple hammers, kind of slimming down. But honestly, crowd control is the only thing that it lacks. If this was just like a tier list based off of how cool the trues were, I promise it would be placed way higher. But True Judgment, I think it's honestly pretty cool for a true. Now following that, we have True Kyoku Suigetsu, or Kyoka Suigetsu. Honestly, I didn't even know this had a true, so I just had to update my knowledge on it. True Kyoka is definitely, I'm going to put it at the back of S tier. Now, I'm contemplating between top of A or back of S, but this True Bankai is, honestly, it's what you would expect from something that's based off of Aizen. So what it does is it summons a bunch of clones. Now, the clones depend on the amount of people around you. So the more people around you, the more clones that you will summon. Honestly, like, and the clones, now they're inside Bankai just like you, and they kind of copy your movements, but it's all like random and delayed. So it's not like the person can kind of predict what the clones are going to be doing. And even if they were able to, depending on the amount of people that you have around you, it's just like just imagine getting jumped by 6 Bankai NPCs all at the same time that have like weird, clunky, abnormal movements, and they're all just using random skills from your own toolbar as well. If you slap this on with like speed, like imagine getting hit by like 6 time cuts all at the same time. It's honestly just crazy. On top of that, your black box or your full incantation, whatever it's called, does around 3 bars, which is a lot of damage. It is a huge amount of damage. True Kyoka is definitely super good. The only thing I would say that would like really diff it Soul Reaper wise is just something that's constantly hitting you and the clones. Next we have True Lightning. I'm gonna be honest, like this one is also just absolutely crazy. I'm putting it at the top of A tier. You could honestly make the argument for it being an S, but I think it's just really simple. So it kind of just amplifies all your lightning skills, but then you also get like this cool new effect where a thunderstorm sometimes, I think I'm not sure if it's based off of damage or if it actually just randomly happens inside your mode, but a thunderstorm does kind of like occur above your head and it just drops a bolt of lightning on like somebody that you hit. It's honestly crazy, and you already know that it's going to be doing a lot of damage. Plus you also leave like these little orbs around you, I think every time you use a skill or every time that you walk into a certain place with lightning, that kind of just apply like the electricity effect. And what that effect does is it just makes you really slowed, and you essentially can't really move. True Lightning, it's honestly really great. It's just really simple. Like you don't even create like a domain or something. You kind of just become like a thunder god is the best way to describe it. But I would honestly put it like, it's probably better than fire, or like on the same, I mean, it's all in the same tier as fire, but I don't know. I could see fire and lightning being interchangeable. No matter what, you can't go wrong with any true mode. Maybe these two, but yeah, True Lightning is beautiful. Now following that, we have True Poison. Now True Poison, this one is also just really good. I'll keep it very short because nothing really changes. It's essentially a domain where you're just doing the largest amount of poison damage that you could do. that's really it for True Poison. I think the only change in your skills is that they kind of just become larger. To be honest, I don't even know poison skills that much. I've used it when it released, but it's been a while since I've actually seen anybody use poison. I know that the Shikai is good because the whole point of poison is that you're just putting pressure on them with constant tick damage that they can't really do anything about, while you're also just constantly bum rushing them. And inside the domain for poison, or well, it does have a domain, but when you're inside the True Poison Bankai, it's not like you get an extra skill as well. You will definitely still 1000% kill the person, because everything that you're doing is just applying the poison effect, which constantly over time just does huge amounts of damage. But it's honestly just like pretty lackluster. I can see you getting beat inside of True Poison if the person that you're fighting is just inside a completely more broken mode than yours. And when it comes to True Bankais being compared to each other, once you get to like the upper echelon, it's kind of like unless the person is using the exact same thing as you, they're probably not going to beat you when they pop their true mode. Following that, we have True Shadow. Now this is a true that I got, so I can fully talk about it. True Shadow is good. That's what I would say. Now about your true mode, so you also pop a domain expansion for True Shadow. But inside this domain expansion, your new skill that you actually do obtain is that you actually get to summon shadow NPCs. The best way to think of this is that you're kind of like Sun Jinwoo. The skill is called Shadow Monarch, and the whole point of it inside this domain expansion is that it's really dark, and you're supposed to just stand back, press your Y that has like a 10-second cooldown, and summon multiple NPCs on a person. Now, it summons one NPC per person inside domain expansion. Initially, when you go inside of it, it does summon NPCs as well. But the whole point for you to do is to kind of just sit back and let the NPCs do the work for you. And another thing to note is that when the NPCs actually die, they release the shadow snakes that auto-track the person. Following that, when the shadow snakes hit the person, it applies like that fairy effect where they kind of like hold their hands on the back of their head and they just can't move. So overall, the whole point of Shadow is to kind of let your like minions do the work for you, and then when they pass away, they just stun them. It's honestly a very, I'm not gonna say very good, but it's a really nice true mode. Another thing to note about it is that you actually cannot use like your domain expansion skill when you're inside Shadow's True. So you lose like your whole entire G skill that basically allowed you to get iframes for like 30 to 25 seconds. Shadow's honestly just pretty good. And the fact that you can actually spawn random NPCs. Now the NPCs, they go from Friskers to just regular hollows. They go up to Bankai NPCs, and I'm pretty sure, I haven't gotten it yet, but you can also summon world bosses like Bawa, like, you know, the giant snake. If you can summon Bawa and Jadambo, or if you're able to even seen it, or if you have Shadow and you've seen it, please feel free to comment it below, because I'm actually interested in myself. Every time I've used it, the best summon that I've got was like 3 Bankai NPCs in a row. Now the Bankai NPCs, they use the Bankai skills. I've had a Flame Bankai NPC use World Breaker. I haven't summoned like anything from Quincy's yet, and I've also summoned a Panthera Resurrection before with True Shadow. So honestly, off of that, I'm going to put Shadow, I think I'm either going to put it in front of Ink or behind Ink in A tier, but I'll definitely think that Shadow can be Duality. Oh, Shadow can definitely be Ink. I'm not sure if Shadow can beat Fire, because the amount of damage and crowd control that it has is just insane. And another thing to note is that like the Shadow NPCs, now they do have like Hell Mode NPC Bankai HP bars, meaning like you could touch them 2 times and they'll just disintegrate. But the point is that when you start killing the NPCs, you have like these auto tracking snakes that are just going to hit you and stun you for the person who's actually using Shadow. So honestly, I think you can make the argument for it being like right behind Lightning in A tier. It's definitely not better than Lightning. I can see it being interchangeable with Fire, but just to be safe, I'll just have it in the middle of A tier, because I do know that it's good, but it's just not like, you know, super crazy. Next we have True Suzumebachi. Now this skill, or this True Bankai, is probably the only one that I would have gotten besides like Fire and Shadow. It's honestly super cool. Now what True Suzumebachi does is it puts you inside like the arena, like the old Gladiator Coliseum arena that used to be inside Type Soul. And what it does is, I'm pretty sure after every single time that you use a skill, or like, I'm not sure if it's damage or every time that you use a skill, but once one of those requirements are met, you actually have like this whole array of true Shanko users lined up on the side. And since the arena is a circle, the Shinso users randomly just go in a crisscross and they go in like a straight path, always hitting like the center point of the mode of the arena that you're in. So the whole point of this is for you to kind of just do as much as you can to make it so that the Shinso users will just randomly proc, cross by, and hit the person that you're actually fighting. Another thing to note with this is that the cooldown for, I think, your skill where you like vanish and do steps, just the cooldown for your skills is kind of like Zangetsu, where you're able to use it more than once before it actually goes on cooldown. Another thing to note for true Suzumebachi is that you also rain down like random RPGs as well. Plus, when you proc it and like the Shinso users actually hit something, or not even when they hit something, as they're like moving across the arena, they just do like their effect. So I think it goes between fire, wind, and lightning. They just do the effect as they're moving. So it's honestly just really good. You're creating a huge amount of pressure on the person with these raining auto tracking RPGs from the sky, and the Shinso users randomly just going off and constantly hitting the person. It is definitely a really cool true BANKAI, and based off of that, I'm actually going to put true Suzumebachi at the top of A tier. I don't think it's S worthy, and I do think that it will definitely actually, I'm gonna put it behind lightning. I know it's definitely better than fire, shadow, ink, all of those things, but I'm not sure if you could beat true lightning just because of how broken like the stun ability on it is. Even still, you can't go wrong with this true BANKAI. It's super cool, and I'm happy that Suzumebachi actually got like the love it deserves, because it's a really cool and unique BANKAI. Following that, we have True Feeder. Now this one was nerfed, but essentially how this true mode works is that you go through a set of acts. Now your first act, this act is where basically you just can't take damage. I think that's like the best way to describe it. Following that, inside your second act, this is where you apply like a poison to the person. Now the whole point of this true mode is that you go through all of the acts. If you manage to have somebody alive all the way to the final act, then you're just gonna, well, it's not an automatic one shot, but you're just going to do a really huge amount of damage to them. But the second act, this one applies poison to them. The third act, this one creates like a gigantic pool, and inside this pool, both you and the people caught in it are constantly losing Reiatsu. So this is honestly, think of it as like a countdown to death. The whole point of this is I think that you're just supposed to go all out in like a fight and just try your hardest to kill the person. And then when you actually end up reaching act 4, this is when you do like a huge slash, which is, I mean, it's the final act, but this just hits everybody instead of domain expansion. And I would say that you just one-shot them, because before that's what you would do, but the developers actually nerfed it. So it's not a one-shot, but by the time they get to act 4, from all the damage that they accumulated from act 1 when you're fighting them without taking damage, to act 2 where they're poisoned, and then act 3 when they have no Reiatsu, so it's not like they can even use skills that would help them not take damage. True Feeder is definitely still good. I'm going to put this in front of Creation. I'm going to put it in an S tier, but I'm going to put it behind True Beserk. Now, following that, we have True Border, and this one is just absolutely busted. Think of this one as like another countdown to the inevitable being your death. I'm going to honestly put True Water BANKAI inside of, I think I'm going to put it in front of Creation maybe, or Kyoka inside S tier. Actually, I'm going to put it in front of Creation. Yeah, I'm putting it in front of Creation in S tier. Now, how True Water BANKAI works is it kind of works just like old Water BANKAI, but now you're inside like this huge domain. Now, while you're inside the domain, it still has the passive effect of taking your Reiatsu. Before, to like have Water BANKAI take your Reiatsu, you would have to stand on like the puddles for it that are constantly spawning. But inside the domain, your Reiatsu is just slowly going down. Now, mind you, while this is going down, all your skills are amplified. When you're using all of your water skills inside this true mode, water dragons actually spawn from the side and kind of just auto track and hit the person inside this true BANKAI. So you would think to yourself, okay, it's just draining Reiatsu and doing a lot of damage, but once their Reiatsu is at 0, it starts to drain their HP. So you like, if you get hit by, mind you, like the whirlpools are still spawning, you have water dragons coming down. Once you just get hit by this, it's like you can't beat it. You can't fight it. Yes, you can still kill the person, but with the water dragons constantly coming down, and then if they hit you with one of your skills, you're stuck on a whirlpool spinning draining your Ryatsu, and once your Ryatsu's at 0, meaning that you can't do anything, it's gonna start taking your HP. You just can't beat the water true. Another thing to note is that since multiple trues inside this game, they just make it so like you can't see. The whole entire screen is blue. You can't see anything, and you don't even know when the person who's using the true water is going to be running at you to kill you. So true water Bankai, honestly, it can probably be bumped up to like the 3rd best true Bankai, but I'm just gonna leave it inside the top 5 for now. Honestly, I'll put it, actually, yeah. Is it better than Feeder? It probably is. That's the thing. I also feel like I have Beserk too high now that I'm looking at water. Yeah, so I'm gonna lower Beserk, and I'm also gonna lower Feeder. Yeah, I'm just gonna have water as that top 3 true Bankais. It's crazy. I don't know how you beat that. Next we have True Wind. Honestly, I'm starting to think that the commons are just like better designed than most of the legendaries and mythics. But how True Wind works is it creates like a barrier, and inside this barrier the new skill that you get is called Wind Tornado. Now it's essentially just like a vacuum that you just spontaneously summon. I'm pretty sure the cooldown for it is like 15 to 12 seconds, and you just suck them up, and as they're getting sucked up they're just taking a lot of damage. I'm not sure if it like applies the effect of wind where you're kind of like suffocated for a little bit, but even still, this true Bankai, it's really good. I'm actually gonna put it at top of A tier. You can beat it with probably one of these, but even still, True Wind, it's just like so good. You also have like this giant stick that you M1 with, so your M1's just wildly amplified, meaning that you're also doing more damage. Following that, we have True Shinso. I'm gonna be honest, True Shinso is honestly super cool. Like it's really cool. I don't really know what to say, but essentially this true Bankai, you swim in like a small domain, and inside this domain expansion there's a gate. Now the main skill for True Shinso, it's a one-time use, so I think it's pretty lackluster being a one-time use, but it's still really cool. And what it does is, it's like the meme inside Type Soul where it says a gatekeeper isn't supposed to open gates or close gates. It's one of the 2 memes about the gatekeeper, and basically you open up the gate and then it just summons like a bunch of multiple swords piercing through the gate, and it's just constantly hitting the person inside this domain expansion. Now it sucks that it's a one-time use because it plays a really cool cutscene. I think that they actually tried with this one, so just for that alone I would want to put it in A tier, but I do think it's like pretty lackluster. I mean, you still have like your one-shots. If it's a 1v1, you can literally just one-shot somebody. I'm pretty sure if you get stack above their head up to like a certain amount. Next we have True Snow. I think that this is also one of like the most popular trues, and I also, like, I'm not gonna say fought, but I experienced True Snow firsthand as well. So initially off rip, when you activate True Snow, what it does is it makes the whole entire map snowy. Like that's literally what it does. And this snow effect, it just freezes you completely. Like, you cannot move when you're fighting your True Snow. It's like True Ice, but kind of just completely map wide. I'm actually gonna put True Snow like at number 4 inside S tier, right in front of True Beserk, Feeder, and all of that. And it's really just like, it kind of just reminds me of Ice, but just times 10 in like a weird way. Not only that, but the thing is with True Snow, when you like initially pop it, everybody inside the server starts taking tick damage as well. It is a map wide tick damage amount, but this is the true tier list. Now there are 2 trues that I am forgetting because they're not on this tier list, but we also have True Ash and True Weight. So you see this Benihime image, I'm just going to use this as the image for True Ash, and I'm going to rank True Ash. Now for True Ash, what it does, it kind of just amplifies the Ash Bankai. The whole point of this true, I feel like, is to kind of just obscure your vision and to just like, I guess, hurt the person who's inside your domain expansion with all of your Ash skills. To be honest, there's only like 2 to 3 videos on True Ash itself, but it does kind of just seem like it's just like an amplification of Ash itself. So just remember, I'm using this Benihime image to rank True Ash. Benihime does not have a true currently inside Type Soul on the day that I'm recording this, being the 11th of August. But yeah, True Ash, honestly, I think it's the same thing as True Poison. So just for that, I'm gonna put it behind Poison because Poison does take damage, and then we're also missing out on True Weight. But for True Weight, honestly, I put it probably in like A tier right next to ink and shadow, so in between shadow and ink. Now, like, the main thing about true weight is that you have this skill inside your domain expansion that kind of just puts like a circle on the person that you're fighting, and this does a bar. I'm not sure how long the cooldown is because I mean nobody really uses true weight. There's actually like one video showcasing the true weight Bankai, but from what I see, it actually does, it just takes a bar. So it's honestly pretty good inherently because anybody that's, I guess, around you inside your domain expansion will just take a bar. That's why me personally, I put true weight like either I'll put it in the back of A tier or just between shadow and ink on the tier list for it. So I'll just draw weight inside A tier because I don't think it really matters where you place it, but I am going to actually rearrange this tier list a little bit. So based off of everything that I have here, excluding weight because I'm not going to change that, I'm going to move True Blood up to the back, or like I'm going to move True Blood inside like A tier. I'm going to put it between ink and duality. And besides that, I think I'm also going to keep this tier list the same. I felt like I was underrating True Blood. Even though it's really lackluster, you can't really die in it. So that's a really huge thing. I don't think anything in B tier really compares to True Blood. B tier being Ash, Judgement, Poison, Shinso. Yeah, C tier being Get Shuri and Confusion. So this would be my officialized, like, final true Bankai tier list. Now, keep in mind, I did put these in order, but once you honestly get to A tier and above, it doesn't really matter. I think it's just like case by case and what you're going to be fighting against. If you're fighting any Sclaverai, I mean, you lost because you're trying to fight a Sclaverai. You're just not going to beat that as a true Bankai. And if you're fighting like a true, I can't even pronounce it, I think it's like Terra or something, I'm just going to say true or Rankar mode, you're probably going to lose as well because have you seen Acid? I don't, with Acid you can rebirth, you just can't lose. But yeah, this is going to be my true Bankai tier list. Depending on how well this video does, or if you actually did end up liking the video, please feel free to like and subscribe. I'll take any criticism, feedback. If you have a true and you think I misrepresented it on this tier list, please comment and let me know, because keep in mind, I haven't used every true inside the game. Most of my reactions or most of my rankings for these trues are coming off showcases on how other people have used them and what I'm seeing. So keep that in mind. If you've used it yourself and you feel like I'm misrepresenting it, feel free to comment it. But besides that, thank you for watching, and hopefully you do enjoy this video, or did enjoy it.